All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Seattle Seahawks in tonight's video. This is one of those teams that I would say is the definition of under the radar here. I don't feel great about San Francisco. I think they've kind of hit their peak, and that enters room for a team like Seattle or, obviously Los Angeles or Arizona. But Seattle's a team last year that they just had offensive line issues. They had some coaching issues, and I think it's a completely different team this upcoming season. And you finished up preseason last night or a couple of nights ago on Saturday, 37-33 win against the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, we're not, caring too much about the final score, but you could not have asked for a better showing with your first team starters offensively or defensively. The defense, first string defense, they allowed one first down, and that actually was because of a roughing the passer penalty. Right after that, defensive tackle Jerron Reed, my former Cheesehead Green Bay Packer, killed that drive with a third down sack. And then the offense stepped onto the field, 62 yards in only 5 plays. 21-yard touchdown pass from Geno Smith to DK Metcalf. We saw a great throw and a great catch to JSN, last year's first-round draft pick. The Seattle Seahawks are one of these teams in the NFL where, once again, I literally just think, I see a little Zinner here. That sounded confusing. I saw a little Zinner here thrown in a Zin real quick off the dome. It was a coaching issue, and it was offensive line injuries. Like, that really is the bottom line to me. And this is a team that still finished 9-8 despite that. So welcome back to the channel. We're going to be talking about the Seattle Seahawks in tonight's video. Hope you guys enjoy it. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content, along with at least one Seahawks video every single week. If we try and get this video to 100 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. So one of the reasons I really wanted to make this video is because The Athletic, I think it was The Athletic, they dropped an article, and basically NFL coaches and GMs ranked the quarterbacks. They ranked all the starting quarterbacks in the NFL, and they had Geno Smith at 20th. He was right there next to Mr. Derek Carr. He was below Deshaun Watson, below Baker Mayfield. And I just think Geno's a dude who gets such a bad rap for no reason. It's like one of the most underrated comeback stories in the NFL in recent memory, at the very least. And he won comeback player of the year. He threw 30 touchdowns and 11 interceptions 2 seasons ago, led the Seattle Seahawks to a 9-8 record when everyone was concerned, what's the future of the quarterback situation? And, even just speaking on that real quick, every time I read an article about the Seattle Seahawks, it's always about the biggest concern is always the future quarterback. And I think Sam Howell looked very good. We're going to get to that in just a second. Not saying Sam Howell's going to be your next quarterback, but I'm just saying Geno Smith's a dude who last year, despite the offensive line injuries, despite, Pete Carroll and the offensive coaching just not really being it, 20 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions, a 65% completion percentage. He was thrown for 242 yards per game. There is no way, shape, or form Geno Smith is the 20th best quarterback in the National Football League, all right? Defensively, with Mike McDonald, your new head coach, your front seven's freaking loaded. You got cats like Devin Witherspoon in the back. I always freaking do that. You got Devin Witherspoon in the secondary, early first-round pick from last season. You still got Reek Woolen. You got Julian Love. You bring in Rashawn Jenkins from Jacksonville. You got Trey Brown, who's just a big-time player. I think this is a perfect window for the Seattle Seahawks because, folks, here's the bottom line. Everywhere I'm seeing San Francisco, and then you see, maybe 1 out of every 10 articles where it's like, I actually think San Francisco hit their peak. I think they're past their prime, and I totally agree. And everyone brings up the Los Angeles Rams, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? They got a nice little young team there. They got a good, experienced quarterback, Matt Stafford. But why have we not talked about the Seattle Seahawks going 9-8 in the last 2 seasons? It doesn't make much sense to me because, folks, I look at this wide receiver room, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, JSN. I mean, it's probably on paper a top 5 undisputed wide receiver trio in the National Football League. And then offensively, you have Kenneth Walker III, you have Zach Charbonnet entering his sophomore campaign, and you have Kenny McIntosh. And just while we're on topic, Kenny McIntosh had a phenomenal freaking preseason. 56 yards for a touchdown on his only carry a couple of nights ago against the Cleveland Browns. He finished the preseason with 142 rushing yards and a score on only 17 total rushes. Folks, mathematically, that's 8.4 yards per rush. Now, I get it. It's preseason. You're going up against backs. Oh, dude, what the hell does this matter? You're going up against backups. 8.4 yards per rush. I don't care if you're playing freaking YMCA. Maybe if you're playing YMCA football and you're Kenny McIntosh, maybe. But he led all running backs with at least 10 carries. Folks, you got Kenny McIntosh, Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker III, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jay Ascent, Jake Bobo, D. Eskridge hopefully makes this roster. I think that punt return the other night kind of solidified. I'm thinking that this is a former second-round pick, but you got freaking Laviska Shenault. Like, this is a good wide receiver room. It's always been a good wide receiver room. What it really comes down to for me, because you picked up Connor Williams out of Miami, what was it, like about a month ago, a couple of weeks ago. You got Charles Cross there at left tackle, Laken Tomlinson, new addition from the Jets at left guard, Anthony Bradford. You also drafted Christian Hayes. Abraham Lucas at right tackle, that does his, he's on the PUP list. I don't think he's going to be ready to go week one. That does cause a little bit of concerns. But then when you look at the Seattle Seahawks schedule, you open it up at home against the Denver Broncos. I actually think Bo Nix is going to be a really good NFL quarterback, but you're on the road in Seattle week one for a rookie QB. Like, the odds are against you. And then you go on the road, but you're against the New England Patriots and most likely Jacoby Brissett. And then things do get a little bit interesting. You got the Lions or the Dolphins, then the Lions, you got the Giants, the 49ers, the Falcons, the Bills, the Rams. What came clear to me watching that preseason game and then just looking at the schedule here, Seattle's got to dominate this division. I'm talking a 4-2 record. You got to win both against Arizona. You got to win one against Los Angeles, and you got to win one against San Francisco. And if Seattle goes 4-2 in the division, I have no reason to believe why this isn't a 10-win football team. Folks, Mike McDaniel, your defensive roster, especially your front seven, and you've got a really good, sleepy sneaker secondary. I have no reason to believe the Seattle Seahawks will not be a top 10 defense. Put it in pen. I have no reason to believe you won't be a top 10 defense this upcoming season. And if that offensive line can stay healthy, if my tackles can stay healthy, if my new addition at center can stay healthy and do his thing, with all these weapons offensively and with Mr. Consistent, Mr. Reliable, and Geno Smith, I'm just thinking to myself, why are we crowning San Francisco as the NFC West champions? And if you're a little hesitant, why are we immediately crowning the Los Angeles Rams? Seattle should be and will be in that conversation. So thank God so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. But folks, most importantly, give me a win-loss prediction for the Seattle Seahawks down below.